Welcome to today's lesson. We are still solving questions of the Wassce 2025 mathematics. And previously, we solved questions on the core mathematics. This time, we are also solving the questions on the elective mathematics. So, what we are going to do is that we are going to go through each of the questions. We shall take them one after the other and see how best we can look at them. So we shall be solving the core maths paper, and we shall also be solving the elective maths paper. So what we'll be doing is that we'll be taking them one after the other. All right, good. So this time we are going to solve one of the questions of the Wassce 2025 elective mathematics. So for this question, that is the question one of the section A part. Okay, so in this question, we are saying that a binary operation, that is O plus, is defined on the set of real numbers R, which is what real numbers, by P operation Q, which is given as PQ on 7 plus P plus Q, where PQ are all elements or members of what real numbers. And we are asked to find the inverse of -2 under the operation, and also find the true set of M operation 5 is equal to M operation 7. My name is Evans Okay. The name of this channel is Wassce TV. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You can also get Wassce TV on TikTok. All right. Okay. So let's proceed to how we are going to go through our solution. Okay, great. So for this one, this is what one of the concept of the senior high school. It is, you can get a binary operation, both core mathematics and elective mathematics, but in this case, this question is for those doing what elective mathematics. Okay, so when we say binary operations, that is when we are dealing with two sets, okay, or two elements where one operates on the other. Okay, good. So this is the rule given in the question. Now, the question asks us to find the first question we are looking for is to find the inverse of what -2. But you know that before we can find the inverse, okay, what do? We need to find the identity or the neutral element first, because it is the neutral element or the identity element that you use to find the inverse. Okay, yeah. So let's see how we can find the identity, and you know how to find the identity element. So we are saying that we should let E be the identity element under the operation. Then if we are letting E be the identity element, then by definition, how do we define what identity element? We are saying that P operation E should be equal to the P itself. So when you talk of the identity element, it means that when the P operates with the identity element, we must get the same P. That is about the identity element. Okay, when the identity element operates with an element, we must get that same element. That is what, and that element must what fall within the set given. And what is the set given? The set given here is what the real numbers. Okay, so the P and the E both are what element of what R. Okay, if that is the case, then we only substitute the E for what Q and equate to P and solve for E. That is what we are looking at. Have you gotten that? So you can see that P operation E is given as what PE on 7 plus P plus what E. Yes, so by definition, that is how we go about it. All right. Yes. So okay. All right. Yes. So That is what we have before us. Okay, good. So if we are saying that when a P operates with the identity element, our answer should be P. Then it means that whatever we have gotten should be equal to P. All right. So if that is the case, then that is what we have. Okay, great. So that is it. All right, good. If that is the case, then we can see that P E on 7 plus P plus E is equal to P. Because we are finding the identity elements, what do? We have to make E the subject. So this is simple or change of subject. Okay, all that we do is what we group like terms. Okay, good. So if you are grouping items, then we can send the P to the right side, or we can transpose P to the right side, which is going to be subtracted from the P. And then we are going to have what? PE plus 7E, which is equal to 0, because P minus P gives us what? 0. Have you gotten that? Yes. The 7, if you find what the LCM of that and multiply through, this is what you are going to have. What do we do? Once we have this, then we can factor E out. Okay, if you factor E out, then we are going to have E multiplying P plus 7, which is equal to 0. How do we find E? Just a matter of dividing both sides by what? The P plus 7. Then we can cross the P plus 7 out. Have you gotten that? Good. And then which gives us what? E to be what? 0, because any time you divide 0 by any number, you are still going to get what? 0. Please, there is difference between dividing a number by 0 and dividing 0 by a number. When you divide 0 by a number, you are still going to get what? An answer. You are going to get a value. But if you divide a number by 0, note that you are not going to get what? A solution. There will be no solution. So take note of this. All right, good. So let's continue. Well, now that we know our identity or neutral element at 0, then we can proceed to find the inverse of 2. Okay, so from the relation given here, we can also let y be the inverse of what? P. Okay, we can let y be the inverse of P, where the P is equal to negative 2. So when you're asked to find the inverse of negative 2, it means that we are going to find the inverse of what? Either P or Q. Okay, but in this case, we are substituting y for what? P, and y for Q. Sorry. So we are substituting y for Q and keep what? P. So if that's the case, then it means that this y, we are finding the inverse. Okay, when we find the inverse of P, per definition, it is also saying that whenever you find the inverse of P, then when the inverse operates with its what? Value, the answer should be what? The identity element or the neutral element. Have you gotten that? So the P, its inverse is what? The Y. That's what we are talking about. So when the P operates with its inverse, it gives what? The identity element. So if you have forgotten, then keep it in mind that any number that when it operates with its what? Inverse, gives the identity or the neutral element. That is what we are talking about. So this one too, we just solve it the same way we solved the other one. Okay, so this time we are going to substitute P and Y and then equate to what? The identity element. And so if that is the case, this is what we have here. So it means that we are going to have what? Py on 7 plus P plus Y is equal to what? 0. Because we are saying that where E is equal to 0, that is the identity element. Okay, yes, that is why we are equating to the 0 and solve. Have you gotten the point? That's great. Okay, good. So if that's the case, then we can continue and look at how to go about it. Yes, so that is what we have here. So how do we find the inverse? That is what the y. So it's also the same way by what grouping like terms. If we group like terms, then we are going to but remember we said that the p is what -2, and that is what is given to us. That is the inverse. The -2 is what we are finding the inverse of the -2. Okay, so the -2 represent the p, and the y represents the inverse of the -2. So whatever answer we get for y, that is the inverse of the -2. If that is the case, then we can just substitute a -2 for p and solve for y. All right. Yes. So that is what we have here. So -2y on 7 minus 2 plus y is equal to 0. How do we find y? By grouping like terms, or we can find the LCM and multiply through. So we know that the LCM is what? 7. And if you multiply through, you are going to get -2y minus 14 plus 7y, which is equal to 0. Then when we have it like this, grouping like terms become what? Easy. So we just group like terms, and then we have what? This, and then which also gives us what? 5y is equal to 14. What do? We just divide both sides by 5, and in that case we have y to be what? 14y. So the y is our inverse of -2. It means that the inverse of -2 under the operation is what? 14 on 5. So that is what we are talking about. The inverse of -2 is 14 on 5. So the first answer, or the first question, is answered. Okay, now let's proceed to the second part. So this question is very, very easy when it comes to binary operations, my dear students. When you get questions here, you don't have to waste much time on that, because this one is straightforward. Okay, once you understand the concept of binary operation, how to find identity element, inverse of an element, then you are good to go. You don't need to worry. So you only do for substitution, and then you are good to go. Now let's look at the other part. Okay, the B part. All right. So for the B, we are to find a true set of M operation 5 is equal to what? M operation 7, and we know that this is the rule given as P operation Q is equal to PQ, or divided by 7 plus P plus Q. So we are only still resolving the same way. We only do for substitution. So it means that whenever we see P, we put M there, and whenever we see Q, we put 5 there. Then equate to whenever we see P again, put M there. Whenever we see Q, we put what? 7. Okay, then we solve for M. Okay, so if that's the case, then this is what we have. We're going to have 5 multiplying M all on 7 plus M plus 5 is equal to 7M on 7 plus what? M plus 7. So this is what? Fractions involving what? Equations. Okay, good. Or equations involving what? Fractions. Now if you have it like this, what do? All that you do is you find the LCM and then multiply through. In this case, what is our LCM? We know that our LCM is what? 7. So if we multiply through, then we are going to have 5M plus 7M plus 35 is equal to 7M plus 7M plus 49. Then we can group like terms. If you group like terms, then we have 12M minus 14M is equal to 49 minus 35. Okay, and then we have this, which is -2M is equal to 14. Then we just divide both sides. Okay, we divide both sides by -2, and therefore our M is giving us what? -7. So this is what our M, and then the true set is giving us what? M, such that M is equal to -7. So the B part is also answered. So you realize that this is very, very what? Basic. Okay, great. So you see that this is very, very what? Simple. Okay. Go, as I said earlier, that for questions on that, it's very, very easy. All right, good. So when you meet such example, please kindly relax, chill, and take your time and solve them. You get everything all right. If that's the case, then we shall end here and continue next time. So as I said, we shall be taking the questions one after the other. We shall be going through each of them. Okay. Yes. So um we shall end here and continue next time. My name is Evans. Okay, this is Wassce TV. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, as I said, you can also search us on TikTok. All right, good. So help us um, promote our channel. All right, and there's more to come. If you have any issue, any challenge concerning mathematics, algebra, calculus, geometry, and many more, you can follow. All that you need to do is what, follow Wassce TV, and you are going to have your most of your mathematical problems solved. So see you next time.